grandma has this dress.
No, neither.
I feel like Harry Potter. Too librarian. Too Bono?
No.
No. No. Big no.
Yes.
I look a little bit like a bumblebee. How long you been in these parts?
Bah, if sadness had a color. I bought this? Your Honor, I object.
No. This is so much like my dad.
That is the ticket.
Support for KQED Live comes from Berkeley Rep.
Support for KQED comes from the Asian Art Museum. Visitors can step into an experience like no other at TeamLab Continuity and become part of a wondrous ecosystem of lush natural imagery that dynamically evolves around them. For more information and ticket reservations, visit asianart.org.
The disproportionate impact of
more than half of Black business owners
and disproportionate.
Somehow we always find a way to rise.
To the blueprint builders, to the backbones of every block, for the curators of the culture, and for generations to follow. You might fall, but never fail. Keep rising, keep rising, keep rising. Apply for business, marketing, and tech makeovers on us.
So glad I'm flying out of Oakland today. Let's count the reasons why. For one, flying locally reduces my carbon footprint. Plus, my airport supports over 17,000 jobs in the East Bay. And it makes sense. The more I fly from OAK, the more flights airlines will add out of OAK. All good.
No matter where you live in the Bay Area, there are many great reasons to pick OAK and fly the East Bay way. What you do with that extra hour is up to you.
Good evening. Buenas tardes y saludos. My name is Rodrigo Ejeca Duran, Executive Director of Carnaval San Francisco, and I am a proud member of KQED's Community Advisory Panel. Community Advisory Panel is a group of community members that meet 6 times a year to support, give feedback, and engage KQED in community building. Learn more about our work at kqed.org/cap. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to the Commons Theater at KQED's headquarters in San Francisco. I want to begin by acknowledging that KQED headquarters are located on the unceded territory of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. We recognize that we benefit from living and working on this occupied land, that we owe a collective debt to its original stewards, and that we wish to honor the indigenous people still connected to this land. Aho. For those of you joining us for the very first time, KQED is Northern California's PBS/NPR member station. KQED Live is our new multi-platform live events program that takes KQED's mission to inform, inspire, and involve, and makes it tangible through vivid conversations, screenings, performance, and storytelling nights. Here in person and live streaming online at youtube.com/KQED Live. You can learn more about events and get tickets at kqed.org/live, including the 2 events I will be co-hosting on April 30th, all things Carnaval San Francisco. We want to thank the season sponsors that make KQED Live possible: Asian Art Museum, Berkeley Rep, Comcast Business, and Oakland International Airport. We are so grateful for their commitment to supporting our mission of civic and cultural engagement in the Bay Area. Our generous sponsors at Berkeley Rep have actually donated a pair of tickets to their upcoming production of Goddess, a new musical about the African myth of Queen Marimba, premiering this summer. It's going to go to one randomly selected person in the house tonight, hoy. And the lucky attendee is, drumroll, Elena Anaya. All right, a representative from Berkeley Rep will reach out to you with details to claim your free tickets. Felicidades. We would also like to thank the following outreach partners for their support: Carnaval San Francisco and Women's Audio Mission. We want to thank all of you for being with us tonight and for engaging with KQED on the radio at 88.5 FM, on television, or streaming online in your podcast feed or at kqed.org. And if we bring value to your everyday life, I want to encourage you to consider becoming a KQED member. You can find out about how to at kqed.org/donate. All right, tonight's event is hosted by the one and only Cecilia Philips, who is a digital video producer for KQED Food and the coordinating producer and reporter for KQED's broadcast show, Check Please Bay Area, where she hosts a segment within the show called Cecilia Tries It. And let's bring her to stage. Aplausos.
Thank you. Welcome and bienvenidos. Thank you, Rodrigo. As he mentioned, my name is Cecilia Philips. I'm the coordinating producer for Check Please Bay Area. And I'm really excited because this evening is actually going to be my first non-food event. So I'm really excited, and I want you all to bring the kind of energy that I have because this music event is going to be amazing. This evening, we'd like to welcome Dizzy Jenkins. Dizzy, yes, let's give it up. Let's give it up. Dizzy Jenkins is an Afro-Boricua from New York City. Dizzy is a mother, a surfer, a lead vocalist in a fusion metal band. Dizzy also is a singer, songwriter, and multi-genre artist. This evening, we all have the pleasure of learning a little bit more about Dizzy, as well as learning about the roots in Bomba and its cultural influence, especially in Puerto Rico. I want you all to join me in giving a huge round of applause to welcome Dizzy and her group to the stage for this evening's performance. Let's keep it going as they get set up, huh? Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? All right. I feel some good energy in the building. My name is Dizzy Jenkins, and I'm here with amazing friends of mine in my Taller Bombalele class community. So give it up for all of my homies on stage with me right now. Yeah. Bomba is done in community. I cannot be here tonight without my community. Our teachers, our elders, our ancestors, our children, and without you guys. So I'm really appreciative of that. We're gonna start with something high energy, and I want y'all to sing along with me, okay? So I hope you have your vocals ready because it's gonna get interactive. We're gonna start with a song called Cúrame, which in Spanish means kind of cure me or heal me. And I wrote it during a time where I felt like I needed a lot of healing, and I feel like I still need some of that. So I thought it was a good idea to start our program tonight with that song. This is in the rhythm of Kalinda. For anyone who is familiar, we'll talk a little bit more about the rhythms in a bit. But let's get it started. So the coro, which I'll need y'all help with, it goes, Cúrame, cúrame. All right. Cúrame. Así mismito. Cúrame. Cúrame. Eso. Cúrame. Eso. Cúrame. Santo. Cúrame. Cúrame. Dentro, ancestro, cúrame, el alma me hace falta, tanto otra vez, hay lluvia, olas, agua, lávame, viento, tierra, saname, rezo, santo, óyeme, lluvia, agua, olas, lavarme el alma, me hace falta, canto otra vez, ancestro, dentro, óyeme, tierra, tierra, tambor, cúrame el alma, me hace falta, y canto otra vez, ancestro, dentro, óyeme, cúrame, canten conmigo, cúrame, y'all sing with me now, cúrame, así mismito, cúrame, 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 cúrame y cúrame, eso. Yes. Yo, round of applause for the crowd. Seriously. You see what I mean by bomba is done in community? We can't do it without y'all. Now, in the fun way we do bomba, it's called a bombazo. And that involves a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of drinking sometimes, a lot of partying.
A lot.
And we'll be at it all night. But we only have a small amount of time for this. So hopefully this little taste of bomba will have you guys craving more and wanting to come out and experience bomba with us or anywhere you may find it. So speaking of community, this next song is dedicated to a very special person in our class community. Maritza Torres is a dear friend of ours who unfortunately transitioned late last year. Maritza's energy is something else. I feel like we still feel it when we do bomba. Always. We're not over it. I don't think we'll ever be over it. We miss her terribly. And this song came out of an impromptu bombazo we had in Berkeley at our homie Pablo's house. Maritza goes, you know, girl, one day you're going to write me a song. I said, don't play with me. I'll write it right now. And I was like, Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe, right? And it turned into just, we freestyled this song. We were so lucky that we had Don Jesus Cepeda, our master teacher, el tambor mayor from Puerto Rico, from Santurce, sitting right next to me as we were doing this, and he scolded me for not recording it. So the first version of that is not the same as we've done it before, because I forgot it. So, Maritza, we love you. We love you always. Thank you. So acompáñenos in this coro. We'll have the coro hopefully up there somewhere. But all right, and this is in the rhythm called cuembe. So this is a little bit different from the last rhythm, but it's just as dancey. All right. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe.
Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe.
Sacude, sacude, sacude tu falda. Maritza, Maritza, habla con ancestro.
Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe.
Ay, Maritza, Maritza, sacude, sacude. Maritza, Maritza, habla con ancestro.
Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe.
Ay, sacude, sacude y mueve tu falda. Maritza, Maritza, que falta nos hace.
Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe.
Ay, Maritza, Maritza, reina del cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, que falta no hace.
Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe.
Ay, Maritza, Maritza,
gusta el cuembe, le gusta el cuembe, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Ay, Maritza, Maritza, habla con ancestro, sacude tu falda. Maritza, 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 y le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Maritza, Maritza, le gusta el cuembe. Eso.
Thank you.
Let's keep it going. One more round of applause. I'm going to have the band step off. Thank you so much. Thank you all. And you and I will sit together and get in conversation. I think they're going to be bringing over some chairs for us, but we'll join. May I sit next to you?
Yes.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
That was amazing. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of context for what we all just experienced for the folks who are in the audience that maybe are not as familiar with this sort of music and movement and culture, can we take it back, like way back, and get a little bit of where bomba comes from? Let's start there.
Absolutely. In order to, I think, provide the best context for bomba, we need to provide historical context as well. So bomba is Afro-Taino or Afro-Puerto Rican resistance music. This is music that's rooted in African heritage. And as one of our esteemed elders in the community says, that this is an alliance between Africans and Tainos. That's why it's so particular and special to Puerto Rico.
So you basically have Spaniards who are coming through colonization and conquering different lands, moving from the West Africas, bringing slaves along the way and into the journey along their course. They hit Puerto Rico, and those Tainos, the indigenous people who were there, needed a way to communicate. That's part of it, right?
Exactly. So it's interesting because the drum is probably the oldest instrument, right? And it is the thing that connected through groups of people, and probably several groups of people, because we don't want to put a blanket statement, or we don't want to put a blanket over, like, we don't want to say just Africans, right? Africans are all kinds of different countries, right? It's different people. So there's languages that, nobody could understand each other. But they understood that there was something going on and we needed to have a way to communicate, right? And the instruments are made of locally sourced materials. So that helps, right? Where you have, these are called barriles. So a barril in English is called a barrel. So most people will look at them like, that looks like a rum barrel or something like that. And so this was a way to connect people. This was a way to allow folks to communicate, not only with each other about what's going on, but sort of what's going on in their local vicinities, to send messages to each other. There's even some bomba diss songs out there. We're going to talk about that in a minute too.
Let's do it.
So it's to send, mensaje uno al otro, ¿verdad? So, and it goes back so many hundreds of years. We're talking about like almost 400 or more years by now, and it's still surviving to this day. It's still thriving, as you can see. And that's why it's so important to us to be here tonight.
In addition to communicating, it's a set of people who needed to find a way to share commonalities of humanity. Right. You speak about the barril, right? So that was taking an object that was brought over in this slave trade, and it was a way to use the resources that they already had to create
Correct.
Something else.
Yeah, because even the skin, goat skin, the barrels of the wood, you're looking at a maraca. This is a gourd base. This is the seeds on the inside are from the trees that are right around there. Look, why everything is made right with the materials that are around you. So
it's really about survival and about thriving and finding a way to celebrate and find joy and happiness when it wasn't always available.
Exactly.
There was also a sense of being able to kind of revolt, stand up, challenge these oppressors, and through that, this music and movement were born.
Right, and we're still seeing examples of that today. So even, in our modern times now, we're playing bomba at protests, we're at rallies, at memorials, cuando desafortunadamente nos quitan a alguien de la comunidad por la violencia, estamos ahí con los barriles para darle honor a esa persona. And it's important for us to remember that because it's resistance music, it belongs to the community, it belongs in the street with the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, snaps. The song that you performed just a few moments ago, that was to honor someone as well.
Yes, it was.
There's a lot of fluidity through the music as well. There's often not always lyrics that go along with it. So this seemed to be a little bit more of a dedicated song, right? But a lot of it is more freeform and what you feel in the moment.
Yeah, there are lots of times in bombazos where we all know what the coro is because obviously we're all singing along to it. But a lot of the times the singer will improvise whenever needed, maybe to fit the situation, the place that they are, the mood. Maybe they forgot the lyrics that they had and they're, kind of singing some new stuff as they go along. That happens as well. And yes, that song was a little bit more personalized, and in my songwriting process, it's a little more structured. But when I hear my songs being sang out there, I hear them all kinds of ways, and that's probably the best part.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it brings a very personal, core personal belief system to the music, to everything about it. And in that's an amazing way to provide a realm of expression, right? Can you talk a little bit more about your personal influence and how you got involved with bomba?
It's a story also. I had always known what bomba was growing up. My grandfather did a great job of instilling a lot of culture in me and teaching me a lot of history of Puerto Rico, a lot about the politics, a lot about, music, food, things like that. But I didn't quite have access to it growing up. Growing up in New York, I knew where to find salsa music. I knew where to find merengue. I knew where to find hip hop, dancehall. Bomba was something that I just knew of, and it felt more like como historia que me decían, just like an urban legend. I actually started playing bomba here in California. And shortly after Hurricane Maria, I feel like that was the beacon that called a lot of Puerto Ricans out from wherever they were hiding, because suddenly there was lots of us. I was like,
where have you all been?
I've been here since 2005, and y'all mean to tell me that you just now coming out your house to come in? Really? So that brought us all together, and I came out just from that anger at what was going on and this passion for my folks. And what do I hear? El tambor. And I just thought, this is the coolest thing ever. I feel like I finally found the thing that I was looking for, and it found me too. And that's when I learned about the Taller Bombalele class community. And I started to just kind of hang around until they accepted me, and and now I ain't going nowhere. But it's interesting because even though I haven't been playing for as many years as a lot of my peers and elders, it feels like I have a lot of catching up to do. And it was something that I fell into really naturally, Come to find out later on in life, even though I wasn't exactly brought up in an environment that celebrated my blackness, when I found that, I found out that I have cousins who dance, that I have, family in Ponce that also participate in bomba, and I thought this is obviously something that was in my blood the whole time.
I think that there's a word within this bomba community called bambula. It's like remembrance, almost like the idea of coming back to one's roots.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very important thing to consider here, is that bomba can awaken something in you you didn't even realize was there. There's something about a drum in general that calls to people. And it don't matter if it's bomba or if it's tumba francesa or if it's like something from Colombia, lo que sea. It is just that unifying factor. And it's undeniable that when you hear it and you feel that pull, it's for you. It's in you. That's just it. You don't have to explain it. We ain't got to write about it, talk about it, make a think piece about it. If you feel it right here, then it's for you.
I wonder if that has something to do with the actual human spirit and the heart, right? Like you hear the heartbeat within you, and then the drum kind of mimics something that's very much who you are. There's all sorts of drum circles around Lake Merritt, which is where I live, and when I was thinking about coming to do this event, I felt that vibe, that energy when I was hearing the music and the drums, and it just takes you, it evokes you back to something very humanistic.
It really does. And I think even on a deeper level, there's something that makes it connect me to earth, just as an organic being. Like, this is goat skin, this is wood, that's gourd, that's seed. These things are, made from materials that the planet has given us. So when I feel like I'm playing this drum, there's something that is, like I said, a little inexplicable. And it's not just a connection to my ancestors. It's a connection to just all the creator spirit that's all around me. And this is a very personal, kind of take on it. People play drums for fun, to heal, to dance, lo que sea. I just know that's what it means for me.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see here. Let's talk a little bit about the characteristics of bomba. I just want to give the audience members who maybe aren't as familiar with this style of music, dance, culture. What are we seeing beyond just the drums? You're hearing music, you're experiencing an instrument, you're seeing dancing. How does it all come together to tell the story?
It's a great question. So it's important to point out that it can't happen without all of these elements combined.
I was actually going to mention to you, now that you bring this up, when we were talking about doing this event, I told you, I'm a food person, right? This is what I know. My name is Cecilia, which is in honor of the patron saint Cecilia. She's the patron saint of music. I don't have a musical bone in my body. I can't sing, I can barely dance, I don't know how to play an instrument.
We'll see about that later.
Uh-oh. But what I will tell you is that I do know food, and something that made me incredibly comfortable and brought me closer to you was that you said bomba is like a recipe. And then it clicked for me. I was like, I know recipes. Right. And you said that there is no one without the other.
Correct. And just on a personal note, just as like an artist, I get invited to come play drum for whatever it may be. Somebody may need drums at a memorial, a vigil, or lo que sea. And I stress every time, like, I can't do this by myself. Like, there's no bomba alone. There's no star of the show. There's no like lead singer, getting on. It's not like that. Every instrument here plays a very important part, and every person as well, in everything we're doing. So it's call and response music, as I think everyone's already kind of heard. So you need a coro, right? You need the folks to sing the coro, which is everybody who's around. You have barriles, which are these drums. You also have the primo subidor, which is all the way at the end there, which Denise plays. It was a fantastic primo. We have our kwa, and then we have our maraca. You have a whole gang of buleo, which is these rhythm drums here. One primo, one maraca, one kwa. The dancer comes in, and that kind of adds that little touch. And as soon as the dancer comes in, that's when stuff starts getting real. Okay, and then the dancer essentially kind of commands the space and has the conversation with the drum. So the primo's job is actually to follow the dancer. We hold down this rhythm and make sure we're not like messing anybody up. And whoever's singing will typically have maraca. That person's keeping a tempo. They're the ones that kick it off with the tempo.
And this is totally not traditional in the sense of the Western sense of how we understand. Like, you've got the music and people are dancing, but they're dancing to the music, right?
Right.
This is the music dancing to the people.
Yeah, essentially. So, when a dancer comes into the space, once that dancer starts moving, we're all pretty much going to have to follow along with what's going on there. And that person could be really feeling that song and that space, and they could be dancing for as long as they need to. And that song is going to go on as long as it needs to as well. So it's so different. That's why I pointed out bombazos are different from something like this, because we'll be at it all night, right? Like, somebody could come into the space and start dancing. Yeah, y nos quedamos on that one song until everybody's done. So that's where those improvisations can come in, because you're going to get sick of singing the same 5 lyrics every time.
You kind of need the dancers to kind of keep a bit of a sense of kind of control. But then also within that, those dancers are emoting, and they're allowing their emotions to fly out, and then the music kind of matches.
And it gets a little unpredictable, because that's where emotions can get high in what we do, and that's why it's so beautiful as well. We've been at bombazos and things where we could be crying afterward, we're celebrating, we're joyful, que lo dejamos todo ahí, we leave it all there. And dancers have that power to really kind of command the bate, and we're going to start having a visual aspect to something that we were listening to, because now that dancer is bringing the song to life with movement and the piquetes and the skirt and all of this fluttering around that they're doing. It starts to sort of make the song come alive in a much different way.
That's where the story comes in.
Exactly.
Whatever the dancer's feeling, whatever emotion story is going on, everyone comes together to feel that collectively.
Exactly, yeah. And different rhythms invoke different feelings in people too, different lyrics, different coros, different everything. And that's one of the most beautiful things about bombazos and bomba in general, is that there is something for everyone, and there's a rhythm to cure any one of your woes.
That is beautiful. I like that. I think I might try to use dance a little more often. I watched and listened to some of the other work that you did, and you can just see the expressions and the emotion that's on people's faces, because you're evoking something from the past. You're evoking a history of your ancestors, and it was, for many, a way to have expression that wasn't ever noted by slave masters. They were allowed to dance, and that was the way to communicate. But little did they know they were actually planning revolts, telling stories, shedding a lot of the fears, sadness, and expressing joy.
Yeah, exactly. And all of that translates to this day. Like, none of that has been watered down throughout the years. Like, you think of a genre of music and how it's gone through iterations, perhaps. Like, as a hip-hop artist, I look at hip-hop in its early phases to where it is now. Bomba has this sort of constant that's remained for all of these, just hundreds of years now. And we still have the same basic recipe to it, and the same traditional elements, while also deconstructing a little bit, making it a little more interesting for today. So that
why is it so important today? What does draw all of that history more important now than ever?
Ooh.
Yeah, do we have time?
We got time for this one? We got time. I'll speak on this from a more personal perspective because I can't speak for everybody, but I know for me, this is a crucial time in society, I think. It's a crucial time for Black people, for Afro-Latin folks, finding their identity, finding our voices. And in a time where there could be lots of hopelessness just kind of on your screens, on your feeds, and things like that, this is music that breathes life into whoever's listening to it. And I think that that's that magic touch that has been that constant throughout all of these hundreds of years. And why it's important now is because we seem to be steering further and further away from things that are like, you know, quote unquote traditional and what have you. But it's those things that are going to connect us to our ancestry, our heritage, that things that have been lost throughout a lot of history, things we don't learn in school, things our parents don't get to teach us because of colonization. Things that get, you know, bomba it was banned at one point in Puerto Rico, right? And so the fact that we can sit here on the stage and play it to this day is just a testament to how important it is. And it needs to reach the youth, and this is why we're flipping it a little bit now. Because anything in order to survive has to reach the youth. If it don't reach the youth, it ain't gonna survive. Because they're the ones who are gonna carry it on to the next generations and whatnot, so.
And I can't think of a more important time than to continue to bring on these acts of resistance.
Exactly. I mean, I think we can all kind of collectively agree that it's just been a weird time for a long time.
Too long.
Okay, listen. And we got some healing to do as a collective, as individuals, you know, as a society, as Black and brown people. And I'm just so excited that we get to do that through Bomba.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your particular influence then on this music? Just as you said, new generation, you bring your own style, you bring your own flair, you bring your own history. What do you bring to Bomba that's a little bit different, unique, and very much you?
Well, I bring the gold kicks, that's for one.
Woo! Yes.
Now,
you came on point.
As says you though, y'all peep her shoes though, man.
Sorry.
What? Now, you know, hip hop is my first love. You know, it really, really is. And so I noticed that there were way too many similarities in bomba and in hip hop music. And just as an artist who's very curious about the way things can sound when you're willing to push the envelope, I thought it was a natural thing for me to just start reciting raps over these rhythms. These are rhythms that are also found in hip hop music. And I was very conscious of the fact that this is traditional music and that my elders might frown upon this, right? Like there's only so much room I had. And I had a conversation with, Don Jesus Cepeda about potentially rapping over these beats. And, he was very encouraging. And I got the green light and was like, okay, let's do it. So bringing a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of songwriting kind of structure, and then just personal feelings and stories and things that are reflective of today's times, are reflective of my life. And I think that's the little element that I'm bringing to it. Just that little Brooklyn flair.
All right. Well, I think that we should hear some more music. Yeah?
Let's go.
Before we bring the performers back out, what songs are we about to hear?
So now it's about to get real, like I said, because we're going to have dancers.
Get ready.
So the first two songs that everybody heard were in Cuembe and Calinda. We're about to jump into the Yuba. Yuba is a little bit more melancholy. It's very deep music. It was reserved only for the elders to dance back in those days. Like, that's how serious it was. So to me, it's one of the most balancing rhythms. I feel the most healed when I'm doing Yuba. So these next two songs are going to be in that rhythm. And I'm very, very excited to bring everybody out because Déjame Entrar is a very special song to me. Déjame Entrar means let me in. And I have a dear friend of mine named Chotima, who is also a fantastic rapper, who has a song called Déjame Entrar. And I love that song so much. And her story was one of the stories that, has just stayed with me as a migrant, as someone who's had to fight their way here. And at a time where we were seeing on the news that families are being separated at the border, and there's these kids are going this way and the families are going that way. And we don't see that on the news anymore. Don't mean it's not happening still, right? And so this song is saying, let me in. I have my child. Let me in. There's no reason why this should be happening, right? And me being one person, sometimes I feel really powerless about these things, about these issues. What can I do? But if this song could survive the test of time and allow this story to be told in the future so maybe we don't repeat it again, then I feel like I've done my job a little bit, and it's the best that I could do.
There you go. That's what you can do. Yeah. There we go. All right. So I'd love to welcome back the band for a few more songs. Let's give them a round of applause. Yay. Be right back.
All right, y'all. Remember, sing along with us, okay? We still got y'all in the crowd? We're good? Okay, just making sure. Okay, ¿estamos preparados? The coro, really simple, y'all. Just two words. Déjame entrar. And it goes, déjame entrar. Déjame entrar. Déjame entrar. Déjame entrar. Una madre tuvo que dejar su tierra, cruzar un río frío. Con su hijo tuvo que dejar su tierra. Ay, Dios mío, déjame entrar. Déjame entrar. Esto te lo pido, Padre mío, por favor, siguen adelante, hermanos míos, por favor, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Esto te lo pido, Madre mía, por favor,
Cuida al inmigrante, madre mía, por favor, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Una madre tuvo que dejar su tierra a cruzar un río frío. Con su hijo tuvo que dejar su tierra. Ay, Dios mío, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Sandra, Pacheco, todo el mundo. Esto te lo pido, Padre mío, por favor, siguen adelante, hermanos míos, por favor, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Esto te lo pido, Padre mío, por favor, siguen adelante, hermanos míos, por favor, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Una madre tuvo que dejar su tierra a cruzar un río frío. Con su hijo tuvo que dejar su tierra. Ay, Dios mío, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Esto te lo pido, madre mía, por favor, siguen adelante, hermanos míos, por favor, déjame entrar, déjame entrar. Y déjame Leslie, everybody. Sandra, thank you for your energy. Bueno, vamos a seguir con el yuba. I want to dedicate this next song called Agua de Esclavo to everybody I know at Black Girls Surf and Brown Girls Surf, and particularly to all the surfers, all the caretakers of the planet who are working toward healing the ocean, healing us through ocean joy. Particularly want to shout out Isabella, who is Lola's mom. Little story. After Brown Girls Surf summer camp, Lola's mom and I, Isabella, were talking about how important it is for us to heal with the ocean as Black people. And we had a really long conversation about this, about just the history of it, the pain around it, and why it's so important for us to reconnect and to reclaim our joy, right? When it comes to these, I would say more natural spaces, like being out at the beach, being in the ocean, and so forth. And this song came to me like right after that, on the bridge, had to pull over and write it, because that's how it was. I always say, these ain't my songs, I'm just a vessel, y'all. So that's where this song came from. And I want to give a special shout out to Sandra for
believing in this song and me enough to, have this be part of the Malk's Journal. So that's a really exciting little tidbit about myself. Agua de Esclavo, this has a little bit of a longer coro, but please feel free to sing along with this if you can, if you feel called to. Just like parched. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Agua de esclavo pa'l pelo malo, agua de sal que lloró. Ay, no te mojes, ay, no te mojes, no te mojes, mi amor. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Agua mi tumba, agua mi tumba, agua mi tumba, papá. Cae aguacero, muerto vuelve huracán. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Traigo arena pa' mi bebé. Olas me llaman, dicen que soy rebelde. Yeah, yeah. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Agua de esclavo pa'l pelo malo, agua de sal que lloró. Ay, no te mojes, ay, no te mojes, no te mojes, mi amor. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Traigo arena pa' mi bebé. Olas me llaman, dicen que soy rebelde. Yeah, yeah. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Agua de esclavo pa'l pelo malo, agua de sal que lloró. Ay, no te mojes, ay, no te mojes, no te mojes, mi amor. Eso. Dime, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor. Habla de sí. Habla, negrita, tú sabes del mar y el dolor.
Thank you. Wow, that was amazing. Big ensemble here. I gotta find a spot. I'm gonna stand next to you if that's all right. Let's give him another round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Real quick. Leslie, Sandra, Marcias, Denise, Lisi, Ilya, Breakfast, and I'm Dizzy. Gotta shout out everybody up here, you know?
Well, that's great. I mean, we talked about recipes earlier, right? So it takes all of these people and all the ingredients to come together to make this beautiful dish, right? Yeah. This thing for everyone to enjoy.
Un arroz con pollo tremendo.
Translation?
Arroz con pollo.
Oh, arroz con pollo. I know that one.
Arroz con pollo. Rice and beans. Rice and chicken. Rice and chicken.
Rice and chicken. There we go. So I would love to know just a little bit, from everybody, how you all kind of came together. If you could talk about the way that you all met and created this beautiful thing together.
Well, I met most of the crew here at the hurricane protests. But everybody I've met through class community. Ilya and I have shared the stage a bunch of times. Lisi and I have played together. We've all been in some stage or another. Breakfast is in a dope band himself as well. So, what was the question?
How you all came together to make this one beautiful unit. I have a microphone too for anybody who wants to speak. So may I? Sure. Introduce yourself and how you all came together.
Sure. Hi everybody. My name is Denise, and so I'm a lifelong student of Bomba. Started learning in 2001. I think that one big catalyst for the Bomba community that already existed here. I want a big shout out to the Bomba en Plena workshop at La Peña, Berkeley, where I come from. Always good to. You gotta give shout outs to your teachers, my mayores, Jesus Cepeda, Ito Carrillo, and Hector Lugo. Julia moved to the Bay Area, and there is no Taller Bombalele without Julia Cepeda, who's not here with us
shout out to Julia.
in person, but her energy is always there, and the teachings that we've learned from her and her family. Ilya and I were part of a group called Las Bomberas de la Bahía, the second all-female group ever to exist. And we started playing the drums when women were not playing the drums. And that was in 2005, 2004. And I think one of the catalysts here was Julia came. She's a fifth or sixth generation lineage of Bomba tradition from Cangrejo, Santurce. And she wanted to open a class, and I was like, cool, we'll teach dance and drum. But for her, it was more about building community. And so everybody here, we came together because Taller Bombalele was offering classes, but beyond that, we had a black woman coming from Puerto Rico who is a social worker who does work for trans activism and for domestic violence survivors, and approaches teaching Bomba as a way of life. And so that brought us all together. And, there's people that have their own story and trajectory, but this Taller Bombalele class community is here thanks to Julia.
Shout out to Julia for sure. We miss her tonight.
Let me ask another question. So this seems to be very much like a group thing, right? But is there ever any days where someone's like, you didn't hit the note right? Like, is there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tell me more about it.
Being an African American male, queer at that, finding a space to where, I can experience something completely different. And when we talk about the history of Bomba, Puerto Ricans and African Americans work together to create that. And I think that gets lost in the history. And for me, not having anything to look back on, trying to find my roots, trying to find where I come from. Something in the drums, something in the music, it calls to me, it speaks to me. And having a space that's completely inclusive to whoever you are, wherever you're from, and being able to learn that through this in this way. This is how it is all the time, family, straight oriented, and the music is raw and the music is amazing. The feelings come through that, and it just brings us closest together. Whenever we're together, we see the drums, we feel the drums, and this is what's created from that. And I think that's how we all kind of came to be.
Great.
Marcias, everybody.
I'm going to have you all scoot in a little bit. So I want to especially Can we get a round of applause? I feel like it's the absolute least we can do as you've been dancing on stage. Come back, you start singing. Yeah, in heels. Can you? Square heels. Can you tell me a little bit about what this dance not only means for you, but what emotions are going on when we've seen you on stage? Where's your mind?
Great question. So for me, I'm not Boricua. I'm Central American, Salvadoreña. So coming into as a guest, to the music, to the culture, to the struggle, to the movement that is for free Puerto Rico, it's really important for me to really relate through how I grew up. So I grew up dancing punta, and the drum calls to me geographically through that, history and struggle, transatlantic slave trade, the geography of Central America, the water, agua de esclavo. That's like geographically a part of me too. So I really think about, what the music is saying and what the lyrics are saying, and specifically, with Déjame Entrar, speaking about migration and borders and the need to dismantle them and all the systems of oppression that really tear our peoples apart, brings me back to many moments of activism, of struggle, of solidarity work, of joint struggle work, and I feel it all on the stage.
And you kind of are able to leave it all.
And I just
leave it all
dance, just dancing and really having the conversation with the primo, right? The main kind of voice that is expressing my body is that drum, is Denise, and having that conversation is that joint struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can feel it in your movement. Seems like a pretty inclusionary group here. It doesn't seem
we do our best.
That's awesome. So we talked a little bit about the tools and the movements. Is there anybody here on stage who wants to just give a little bit more about their technique, individual technique for either singing? We talked a little bit about your dancing. Anything about, maybe I can even ask you, do you have, something that you do when you're drumming, something that's going through you, you're feeling, or also just I got to get this drumming done. How does it work for you? Put you on the spot.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisi. I actually so I'm Puerto Rican from the East Coast. Okay. In the house.
That your neighbor, or?
I have probably. Where you from?
Hey, so there's Brooklyn in the house. It's Brooklyn in the house. Bay Area's in the house. KQED is in the house. So let's go.
In the house?
Connecticut's in the house.
Yeah, all right. I actually didn't grow up knowing anything about bomba, which is crazy to me. I never heard the music, never heard the word bomba. And actually years ago, I was walking down the street and I heard drums and I was just wait, whoa, I need to go find those drums. And I just kept walking until I could find the drums. And I looked into class, there was a bomba class happening. And I was listening to Julia speak and I was like, she sound Boricua. And then I just was looking on Facebook. I reached out to Denise. I was I'm poor, I'm Boricua. What are you doing in the studio? Let me in, can I play? I'll clean the studio, whatever I have to do. And Denise took me under her wing right away. And for me, once I got on the drum, it was kind of natural. For some reason, it was just easy for me to pick up the rhythms and play. And Denise has done a wonderful job of really helping me build courage and build confidence. And so when I'm on the drum, honestly, it's just my body takes over and does its thing. When I first was drumming, I was whoa, this is amazing. And I just remember crying so much. And an elder told me, you're home finally. And so when I'm here, I'm home.
Did you want to speak about your drumming? Sure. Step to the side here.
Hi, I'm Elia. I actually started my journey as a dancer, and it was also, I'm Puerto Rican and born and raised. And we started dancing because there was this event in which, same place in which we used to have poetry nights. And they had bomba en plena, even though they're two different rhythms. And the girls in the group will bring the skirts and take all the girls to dance. And that's how we started. And then I was very impressed that being Puerto Rican and being like fairly, cultured, I didn't have this connection with this music. And for me, that was crazy that we all, at that point, in that point of history, it was still before that reawakening of that Bomba has had in the last maybe 20 years or so. And then little by little, I just started learning more and like searching and finding and meeting new teachers, learning from all this and creating part of these other communities. And it was very natural as well to go from the dance to the drum, because like having those conversations with the drums, you already had a connection with those rhythms. You already had a connection with those movements. You already had a connection. And like Denise and I always say, we're like fiebruas de la bomba forever. Like that's like you have like the bomba fever, like that uncontrollable bomba fever. Call us, we'll be there.
You just have to drum it out, it sounds like. Did anybody else have any part of what they wanted to explain about their Bomba journey? Yeah? Would you care to? How did you get involved? Yeah. Most important meal of the day.
Don't you forget it.
Breakfast. How did you get involved with Bomba?
So more than 10 years ago, I was at a picnic and I ran into Elia, and she mentioned that she was involved with Bomba. And I had known about other forms of Puerto Rican music, and from Bomba, I just known that there was a rhythm, but like that was all I knew. I had no idea there was a tradition or like anything else. So I saw her band. Yeah, that's the one. So I saw the band that they used to have, was blown away. It was like, how come my family like never told me anything about this? Like we have plena, we have salsa, we have danzón. And then Ilya and I lost touch for a couple years. Then one day she was in the audience at one of my shows and said, hey, I'm in this new Bomba collective that's like open to everybody. It's not a professional group. You want to come to one of our workshops? And so I'm still here.
There you go. And yeah, the rest leads you into lunch. That's how it goes from there after breakfast. Yeah? Okay. Anyway, so that was great. Thank you all so much. I think now would be a great time to teach a little bit to the audience. Yeah?
Who's ready to get their bodies moving?
Interactive portion. Yep. So for this, I think we'll definitely have our dancers stay on stage, and then I think we're going to, the lights have gone on now. Now we can see all the faces. We're actually going to call on some folks to come and learn to dance some Bomba.
And you too, right? We're going to have...
Jumped right up?
Let's go.
Oh, wow. All right. I think, how many skirts? So I think we've got a couple of volunteers here, and then I think everyone else, if you want to just kind of stand toward the front if other people want to participate, would you like to come up to the side of the stage? All right. And I need a skirt too.
So as you can all see, we have these beautiful skirts. This is a really important part of the dance tradition here. And again, big shout out to Julia Cepeda for being the most patient dance teacher with all of us. And she's taught us pretty much everything that we know that we're about to demonstrate here on stage. There's something called a piquete.
Okay, hold on. Let's get in.
Skirts on.
We're getting our costume change.
I'm getting too excited, y'all see.
So wait, continue to talk about the skirts really quickly, because now we're about to be the three of us. First of all, what's your name? Sarah Faye. Yeah, please, jump in.
I would be remiss if I didn't say one thing that's really integral to Bomba, and I would imagine a lot of Afro-Indigenous communities. One is Bomba is an alliance of African folks that were both brought enslaved and that were free, right? And the Taínos that were already in Puerto Rico. And it was to conspire against colonization and enslavement. Every instrument you see here is not mass-produced. It's made by local artisans in Puerto Rico. There's some in New York and in Florida. These skirts are made, this one is painted by hand by Reynaldo in Chicago. And every instrument, the maraca, is made by Taller Quenuati in Puerto Rico out of higueras. That is a vegetable that is in Puerto Rico, native to Puerto Rico. And Bomba is a direct attack on capitalism and colonialism, because it is collective, because these are all instruments that are supporting local artisans. We boycott. The Latin percussion came out with mass-produced barriles. We said, "Pal carajo, they need to be made by the artisans that are making them one by one with a lot of love and care." So I just needed to mention that, because when we talk about bomba, people see what is the performance of bomba, but there's so much layers to that, and there is so many people that put their heart and soul into us being able to hold a bate, which is an indigenous word, and it's a circle. It cuts through space and time. So I had to say that thing.
I mean, thank you.
And I'll add, as it is important to fight against climate change and to fight for climate justice, these woods that become drums, the higuera that becomes a maraca, is a resistance against climate change. So when we're thinking about all the hurricanes, all the fires, what does it mean for culture? So we all have to be climate activists if we want culture.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Leslie.
These are great points. Yeah. So first of all, who are our? Come along here. Come on in. Come on in. We have to say hello to our brave volunteers.
Oh, hi, I'm Sara Faye. I'm Boricua también.
I'm Pam.
Nice to meet you, Pam. Woo! Okay, and you're gonna join too? What's your name?
I'm Sebastian Kohler, and I'm 8 years old.
Well, there you go. Sebastian, you are very brave. Thank you for being up here. Will you come next to me, Sebastian? Because I'm gonna need some of your energy. So, if we could learn some moves together, that would be amazing. So you're gonna do this with me, right? Yeah. So if you could teach us some basic moves. And I have to also say, the number one fear for most folks is public speaking, right behind the second most common fear, which is public speaking and learning how to publicly dance.
Yes.
I'm very afraid, but you're here with me, so let's do it together, huh?
Definitely. So first and foremost, because bomba and the bate is a circle, we have to open ourselves up to the drum, and especially the drum over there, because Denise, as the primo, as subidor, is going to have a conversation with the dancers. So if you notice, if we did one thing like this, Denise is anticipating like half a second before I hit it to hit it. So it really is important to make eye contact, to have that conversation, to engage, or else whoever's on that drum, so Denise, will have to watch us closely. Yeah.
All right.
So third layer of public dancing. All right. So we're gonna learn the basic, just on point stance for one of the rhythms, which is cuembe.
Okay. Cuembe.
So if we can have a cuembe.
Okay.
So here we're gonna go with the basic step, which is and ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 1, and 2. So this is the paseo básico that you want to lead into your piquetes, right? This is just I'm coming into the circle. I'm making space, right? So as a feminist, it is important to make space in patriarchal worlds that don't allow many folks, women, gender non-conforming, trans folks, to make space. So it's important to have that body speak. So with that, you go 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Great. Awesome. Yes, you got it. I see it. Awesome.
All right.
So now you're gonna hit the piquete, which is that conversation, right? Where you hit that one move, and Denise has to mark it. That's what you're gonna learn right now.
Oh, look at Denise. All right. Here we go.
All right. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And now we're gonna go bra, bra. Do it again. 1, 2, and bra. Excellent. Do it again. And 1, and 2, and 1. Yes, excellent. So now we're gonna do it double time, and I'm gonna put the mic down because I can't do this with the mic.
Here we go. Oh, we're still going. Okay, still going. One more. Okay. Woo! Good job.
Wow.
Amazing. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Wow. Thank you, Leslie. Not bad. Okay, talking about ain't got no rhythm. I saw that.
No.
This me over here was just
No.
like having a piquete.
It was an
in the heels.
amazing teacher, first and foremost, and then some amazing volunteers.
Thank you, everybody.
So I think there's probably time for one more song. Should we do one more?
So?
Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about this song, and then we'll have you join in and have everybody. I need the energy up high, yeah, for this one?
We got this. We got
Okay.
this.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna close this out with a song called Bodega. I'm gonna come up to the front as the MC of the of the group right now. I wrote Bodega as a just kind of honoring my New Yorican upbringing and all the times that I woke up and my mama wasn't home because she went to the bodega, and I was like, she didn't get me what I wanted from the store. Now I gotta wait for her to come back. So this comes from that place in my life. And the rhythm is a little bit of a mix. You're gonna hear some yuba, and you're gonna hear a rhythm called yuba mason as well. And this is the hip hop portion of the set. So get ready. The coro is super simple for this one as well. It goes, se fue pa la bodega. Really? One more time. Se fue pa la bodega. Así mismito. Se fue pa la bodega. All right. Okay. You think they got it? You ready? ¿Tú crees? Okay.
We got a guest dancer, Dizzy. Huh? We got a guest dancer.
Ah, pues. Let me make some space. Got this. ¿Dónde está mamá? Ay, ay, mi mamá. Hey, ay, ay, mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. ¿Dónde está mamá? Se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mi mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. Hey, se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. Dangerous, dangerous. Old New York, it was dangerous. Play with us, you can't play with us. This my game and I take it serious. Mama went down to the corner store. She play a number she dreamed before. She do what she gotta do. Light a candle or two, carry that rosary out the door. ¿Dónde está mamá? Se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mi mamá. Vente. Se fue pa la bodega. Ay, se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. Woke up in the morning and mama not there. She with the Dominicans doing her hair. She say hi to Coca Marina Jesus. If these numbers hit, we collecting the loot. See, we might be poor, but you never know it. We might be hurting, but we never show it. That's life in the hood. We trying to survive. Mama, she hold all that feeling inside. ¿Dónde está mamá? Se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mi mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. Hey, se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. Mama, she come from the island. She been through a lot, but she smiling. Me fui yo pa Cali, she crying. And I know it wasn't good timing. And now we not young any longer. My hill built me up and I'm stronger. But mama, she's still in the projects. I'll get you out one day, mama, I promise. Yo, ¿dónde está mamá? Se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay, mi mamá. Habla. Pa la bodega. Hey, ¿dónde está mamá? Se fue pa la bodega. Hoy, hoy, mi mamá. Se fue pa la bodega. Hey, se fue pa la bodega. Ay, ay,
My name is Dizzy Jenkins. Thank you so much.
Look at this well-deserved standing ovation.
I don't know what I'm doing now.
I would love to give you a big thank you. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you to all of you as well. A round of applause for all of you. And a huge thank you to each one of you for coming here tonight. And a huge thank you to everybody. Our KQED live events really depend on the community and all of you coming out, and we really appreciate it. I want to also extend a huge thank you to everybody in the booth. Thank you so much for doing the lighting and the sound to make everyone sound just amazing tonight. My co-producers, Joan Martinez, Paloma Cortez as well, Ryan Davis and the KQED Live Events team, of course our sponsors and our outreach community. Just a huge thank you to all of you. And if you enjoyed this evening's event, our next event will be Saturday, April 30th. It's going to be an all-day Carnival event. So if you enjoyed this, we really hope that you come back to enjoy that event as well. One more round of applause for Dizzy Jenkins and the crew.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Love y'all.
Yeah, thank you all.
Okay.
Let's ask. Do you have time for 30 seconds more? Yeah? All right.
My mother's voice and my father's face.
I couldn't get them to stop though.
The lights at night, a skyline's empty place. I wanna go.